We looked into salt-tolerant plants, specifically at the Bolsa Chica wetlands. Our hypothesis states that the salt marsh will have a greater abundance of salt-tolerant plant species than in the freshwater plant communities. To gather data, we took 5 different quadrant samples that were dispersed throughout the wetland. 2 samples were taken in the freshwater area and 3 were taken within the saltwater marsh area. In total, we tested 11 plants.
Quadrant 1 contained only 2 types of plants. It was 43% spiny rush and 23% coast woollyhead, both of which are salt tolerant. Quadrant 2, which was, in contrast, further away from the water's edge, contained 4 plants. It was 39% crystalline ice plant, 21% yellow sweet clover, 8% Russian thistle, and 11% saltgrass, all of which are salt tolerant. Saltwater Quadrant 3, an area that is commonly overrun by water, contained only 1 type of plant, Virginia pickleweed, which covered 70% of the quadrant area, which is also a salt-tolerant plant. The one located furthest from the water's edge contained 3 different types of plants. It was 30% crystalline ice plant, 40% yellow sweet clover, and 28% prickly pear cactus, all of which are salt-tolerant. The only freshwater quadrant that we took was in a small area where there is fresh water available. This area had 2 different types of plants. It was 65% western wagweed and 35% clover, neither of which are salt tolerant.
Our research led us to find that out of the 11 plants that we identified, only 2 species were not salt tolerant. Both of these non-salt tolerant plants were found only in the quadrant near the freshwater source. There was 82% salt-tolerant plants compared to the 18% of non-salt tolerant plants.
Our group would like to further study why the wetland specifically has more saltwater marshes than freshwater communities. Also, we would like to find out where exactly the freshwater is coming from. Lastly, we would like to try to find a deeper understanding of the specific plant species in the area of the Bolsa Chica wetlands and why some plants are salt-tolerant compared to other non-salt-tolerant plants.